Silva?
I'd like to also, for the record, indicate that I also had a conversation with Mr. Acevedo yesterday, and I concur with the comments he made in terms of developing a wider dialogue on the resolution and providing services to our youth. I also spoke to a representative of the Skateboard Coalition, Ms. Driscoll, who also expressed a desire to continue the conversation. So I don't know if the venue may be a joint venue, as the mayor has indicated, but I will tell you that from their perspective as well, they are desirous to continue the conversation beyond today.
Agreed, and I think it's obviously if you're going to have a collaborative agreement, all sides need to be involved, and that could expand that to others affected by the use of any of our particular fields. Certainly those affected at Swarthout and at STAR. So I think that by allowing that additional time and allowing those parties to get together, I think we can come to a much more focused agreement. I had some general concerns about the MOU agreement and the responsibilities. It's very easy to be general in nature, but as we know, if you're having any lengthy agreement, there's going to be changes in the council, there's going to be changes among the board memberships of the various organizations. Let's be very clear that when we do an MOU and an agreement, that 2 or 3 years from now, nobody's questioning what the intent was. So I think there's a lot of issues, but if the council concurs, I would like to entertain the idea of a volunteer from the council who would be interested in serving in that capacity. I don't want to make a full task force on this at this point. We may evolve it later to that, but let's see if we can get a council member to coordinate with those interested parties in our rec staff and the Community Service Commission about working on this. Any volunteers?
Well, if it's more than one, then maybe is that a different?
I was going to go right, but I'd rather do it with one at this point.
No, I was going to volunteer myself to do it, but if it's more practice, we could have to solve it.
Okay, and I know that you're preferring that we then send our comments through Mr. Solomon, which I will do at length, but I just want to make sure that it's clearly understood that while public-private partnerships are fantastic and have the potential to work very well, when this item was first presented, my first concern is with the displacement of other young people that may be using those fields for other purposes. And so, Mr. Feldman, I'll get with you on some other issues that I think need to be addressed before this comes back to the council.
Okay, everybody agree with that? I'll be making the motion to that effect with this director. Mr. Solomon, work.
My comment, the mayor has asked that we refrain from getting too deep into the discussion and wait until Mr. Solomon actually has a chance to meet with the interested parties as well as the community service commissioners, and so I will exercise that restraint.
Thank you, Ms. Sanders. And thank you, Mr. Solomon, for agreeing. I want to say to those here tonight, I know who are interested in this, it is no reason for us to sit here and suggest that we don't want this to try to go forward. What we want to do, as I said earlier, is we want to make it right. And obviously there's some issues and concerns that have been raised by members of the council, by members of the coalition, and some clarity needs to be brought to this. It can be, and I'm encouraged by the fact that it can be a fantastic, positive venture for this community as long as we get it right the first time. If we don't, all we're going to do is create controversy and ill will on behalf of different parties and groups. So let's take the extra time. We know that the top orders covered for 2008 season. I spoke to Mr. Acevedo today. The real concern is 12 months and how many days?
12 months, 3 weeks.
And that's appropriate. And I recognize that as an issue and a concern, and you don't solve these issues in 1 day or 1 month. But we do have a little time, and we have a little time, I think, to iron some of the details out. So if you guys will grant a little bit of patience in regard to that, I think we'll be ready to come back to something, hopefully, the first meeting in September. Okay? All right. Moving on to the consent agenda, we have items 1 through 6. Do you have anybody who wants to pull any of that? Hearing none, I'll take a motion on items 1 through 6.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Walker, second by Solomon. Ballot, please.
Motion carries 5-0.
Before we move on to the public hearings, Chief Petrie, would you like to come up and say anything on behalf of your new equipment? And I don't mean the gray hair either.
No, not that equipment. This week we received the 2 apparatus that the council approved in December. They're 2008 Pierces. We had them here on display. They're identical. We call them sisters, and we're currently getting one in service, getting the radios and chargers put in it the last few days. Hopefully we'll have that in service around the 1st of August, and the 2nd we hope to have in service a couple of weeks after that. We had a committee that established the specs for this process. It was chaired by Fire Chief Tim Rill. The members of it were Captain Danny Moss, Captain Chad Whitlock, Engineer John Fabian, and I think I have all the committee members, and actually Craig Morris, and Engineer Craig Morris. I think we're pretty correct. They did an excellent job. They made 2 trips back to Wisconsin to make sure that the engines were right. As a matter of fact, they just got back about a week ago from the final, and thank goodness where the manufacturing city is that these were built in missed all the flooding and thunderstorms and tornadoes that occurred the last 6 weeks. So, but the engines are beautiful. They came out really nice. They'll be part of our fleet for probably the next 30 years. They'll be in frontline service for 15 to 20 years, and they'll be in reserve status for around 10. But again, I'd like to thank the council. As you know, we had 2 engines that developed catastrophic failures last year. Those apparatus actually were part of what the donation is. It's going to Mexicali, and hopefully Mexicali will be picking those up next week. So things are moving along. But again, the engines were here. I'd like to thank the guys, everyone, all of the firemen did a lot of work, and there'll be a lot of work to get them in service in the next couple of weeks. So, but again, I'd like to thank the council. Any questions?
Chief Petrie. Comments, questions?
Would you mind, Mr. Petrie, please announcing for the benefit of the audience the actual funding stream and help us acquire this, I'm going to call it equipment, this apparatus?
Sure. We had one budgeted, but then when we had the failure of the other 2, the council approved the purchase of 2. And one of the engines was purchased with developer impact fees. Those are monies that we collect when new development comes into the city to kind of offset the impact that the developer is bringing with new housing and everything. The second was purchased by general fund money. Thank goodness the city's in a good financial position now, and the council approved the purchase of that. In total, there were about $850,000, about $425,000 apiece.
Thank you.
Any other questions, Doug?
No, other than their beautiful engine. And it has a new car smell.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, when I was outside, I told the firefighters here, I said I didn't want to see them driving down the street in their new air-conditioned vehicle. I figured they wouldn't be at the station anymore. They'd just drive it up and down the street. Chief Petrie said they'd be waving the flag, though. So.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that you've done your people have done a good job is when other departments take notice of it. And while our guys were back in Wisconsin, we had a couple of departments that were also back there from throughout the country, and they asked for our spec package because they liked what we had done. So we felt really good about that. So a lot of hard work goes into the spec package, and it just doesn't happen. They worked on it for months. It was about a 4-month process.
So did we charge them for it?
No, we didn't. No, in the fire service, we're kind. We give things away. So we try to help each other.
Thank you, guys, and thank you.
And just for the record, one of those new engines is for our new station.